Okay, it's time once again for Be All You Can Be with the Catalyst, Lanre Olushola. Lanre, you're welcome to the studio.
Yes, so, Chris, man, one thing that is very critical for your career is that you must be able to flow when you talk.
Yes.
So, that's one gift, that's one skill that you must have. And today, we've got a guru in the house. He's a career coach, phenomenal guy. His name is Jimmy Tewe. Jimmy, what's up, man?
I'm good, man.
Well, thank you for, gracing our program, Be All You Can Be.
Thank you for having me, too.
And today we're talking being all you can be in your career. Now, Jimmy, what is the statistic out there? They say there's so many graduates, there's so many people out there that have no jobs. What's the situation out there?
The World Bank says it's less than 10%, funny enough. Federal Bureau Statistics says about 25%. But I had figures up to 40, 60%. But one thing I know that statistics are not statistics, people need jobs out there.
Wow.
Right? A lot of people out there. Yeah.
Wow. So, we're talking jobs, we're talking career.
Yeah.
What really is a career?
Okay, so usually when people talk about career, they're talking about, oh, I started off as a janitor, then I became a receptionist, and so it's a story of the past. But in reality, a career is a story of the future, where you want to get to. All right, and then the journey towards that really is what your career is about.
Wow, so it's about painting a picture of your future.
Sure.
It's about seeing yourself as who you are in the future.
Exactly.
Then you work your way towards
that.
So with this issue that we have, different people are quoting different figures, right? What can somebody do in Nigeria today so that he doesn't become a casualty?
Okay, well, what I say to people is that I think that the challenge we have in Nigeria is that we have the wrong response to the situation we have at hand. So usually most of us, parents told us get a good job, and now the jobs are not available as it were. And it's not available because really the real sector of the nation has not grown over the years. And because it's not grown, the reason why it's not grown is because we don't have as many industries, and those that we do have shut down to some extent. And so there's now constriction as it were. However, I think that the opportunity that we have as a nation is the fact that I'm in the middle of how tough and how difficult it is, that we would have proven that you can actually start something. So we're going to need a combination of those that will start things and those that will support those that have started things also. That's what we really need today.
So what I hear you say is you need to break out of that mode.
Sure.
And that conditioning from our parents that are said to us over the years that go to school and get a job,
good,
and earn a salary until you die.
Correct.
Now, you're saying that we've got to break out of that. Some people will take that route.
Yeah.
But some people have to be the job creators that will employ these other people.
I agree.
So, someone out there is asking, is it that easy? After I've graduated, is it that easy? Yeah. So I'm asking you, Jimmy, is it that easy?
All right. It's not easy. I think success is not easy in any respect. But I think that what really, again, not everybody, let me state it up front, not everybody can create and run an organization. Not everybody is entrepreneurial. So there are some, like I said, that will start, and there are those that will join those who have started. Now, again, the first thing to do usually is to, and this really is the basis for career, it's really about self-discovery. And I think that this is the major key, one major key that will make a big difference, because the truth about it is this, that every economy that has grown simply because people decided to say, what can I do using what I have and who I am? And then from there, they now begin to create products and services. And before you know it, you now have people that have now started new organizations. I'll give you a case in point. A guy that I heard about was looking for work, no work. At the point in time, he started to wash cars around his estate. And then he started, now this is a graduate, he started washing cars, and it's a really nice part of Lagos. So he was washing cars and was getting paid 1,000, 2,000 and all that. But today he doesn't wash cars any longer. He has people that wash the car for him. Now, his monthly revenue, from what I heard, this was about over a year ago, was about 600,000 naira per month.
Yeah?
Washing cars.
One for motor.
One for motor, exactly.
600K a month.
I'm telling you. Now, let me say this. If you are going to be a big boy, you will suffer. As it were. The truth about that, humility will keep you from opportunity.
Quote that again.
Humility, all right? That's the key. Without humility, it will keep you from opportunity.
Wow.
And that's what we really need. We have people that cook food. I told people that if I have nothing to do in my life, if I had nothing at all, I will cook food. I mean, everybody has to eat. Even those that are fasting, they eat, and nobody knows about it.
And they have to break their
They have
fast
to
anyway.
break their fast. So food is guaranteed. And really and truly, when we talk about employment, I think the concept, we've always had is the fact that you get into something someone has prepared. But the truth about it is that the first thing you must do is look at what you have. Everybody has something that they can do. For some people, it's easier to identify. For some people, it's a bit more difficult. But you have to discover yourself first and foremost. Then look in your environment and say, where can I plug into? I have a skill. I have, certain abilities and talents. So there are some opportunities that I can easily key into. But where I don't have that, where can I start from and then build from there? That's
I mean, I once heard Steve Harris say that it's not what you don't have.
Yeah, that limits you.
That limits you. It's what you have that you don't know. It's what you have that you don't want to use. So wow. One guy started washing cars. What are the other solutions? What are the other opportunities out there?
So I'll give you 5. The first one is get a job. There are companies that do need good people. Now, the thing that will differentiate you though is not just the fact you want a job. You mustn't come as a job seeker, but as a problem solver. What skills do you have, all right, that they need, all right? That would easily get you a job. The second option is to start an enterprise, start a business, find a need you can actually meet. The third one is actually to start up what I call a social enterprise. All right, we have, the Millennium Development Goals, we have 8 of them. We have, if you don't even need the MDGs, there are problems around you. And there are people that are willing to support well-structured NGOs, as it were. And you can actually get that form of employment. The fourth one is that you could use what I call the creative abilities you have. So today, Nigeria has been rebased, and one of the key, factors that led to that was the introduction of Nollywood as an industry, right? And that really changed everything. So, and how did Nollywood start? People that said you could act and all that, and they've grown it over a while. So you can use your skills and abilities, handcraft, whatever it is. And then the last form of employment is to go to school. Some people don't know what they read.
Yeah. They went to school, but they didn't go to school.
I'm telling you. Ask them in an interview. They would, they did what they call la crème, la pour, la forget. You understand?
Sorry, you missed one important one.
Oh, yeah.
La copy.
La copy.
So what's the sequence? La crème? No, that one doesn't cram now. The one that copy
La
doesn't.
crème, if you forget, la copy, la pour, forget.
But Jimmy, you've talked about these 5 opportunities, right? And I don't want us to miss the most critical thing that you said a while ago, that it starts with self-discovery.
Sure.
So how do you go through that process of discovering whether you should set up a social enterprise, whether you should go and seek a job, whether you should start something, whether you are creative enough, to even act or sing or paint or do any of those things, right? So or whether you need to go back to school. How do you go through that process of soul searching, of self-discovery?
Okay, well, first I need to say that discovery is a process, it's not an event. So you're not just going to hit it one day. Now, in the process of what I want to talk about, which I think is one thing that we lack a lot in Nigeria, which is exposure. Follow the interest that you have. I studied agricultural economics, but from the second class, I knew I was in the wrong course.
And you finished?
And I finished. I even made a 2-1. I'm telling you. But the interesting thing, one of the courses I did was management, and that was the only class I read after the class. All the other ones I read before the exam. I was interested in it. So I went to go and research it, and I discovered there's a field called management consulting. And so when I got to Lagos in 2002, that was all I was out to get, and I got that opportunity. I prepared myself for that. So how did it come? Of course, with time, I had time that I would advise my friends about their business, my books I'd read. Again, the truth about it is that your passion is linked with your interest. All right? So those are the kind of indicators you start off with. All right? Then more important, it's not enough just with passion. If someone says, I like to paint, nobody cares. Are you ready to paint what people are looking for? So you must do that environmental scan. What do people require? And how do I now plug into that? Now, one thing I must say is that, look, it won't always be a smooth journey. Start somewhere. Your first job might not be your dream job, but it might be the gateway to that dream job. So you now start somewhere. So I tell people that when you're sitting at home, you don't have a job, go and volunteer somewhere. Start something, you will learn a skill, and then from there you can now keep moving. Every time you have a goal, a vision, a career ahead of you, you will never stop at the bus stop. You understand? That's true.
Every time you have a picture of the future and you're going somewhere, no bus stop can stop you.
But some people have bus stops now because they had no vision. Because there's some air-conditioned bus stops. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Comfort zone.
Exact comfort zone. That's what it is, yeah. So that's what happened.
Wow, wow.
It's still Be All You Can Be right here on the Saturday Morning Cruise with the guest analyst, career advisor. I don't know which category to put you in.
Just call him a career coach.
Okay, career coach.
Management consultant.
Jimmy Tewe, and of course the Catalyst is still in the building.
Yes, so we're talking about self-discovery. You know, I'm sure people are asking, you know, what else can I do? How else can I discover, you know, what career best suits me? And you know, I heard this at the United Nations event that I went for on, you know, Tuesday. And Praise Forward used an acronym that I thought was incredible. He used the word happy, HAPPY. And it says the first thing to discover, you know, what you're called for, or what you're created for, your career is, you know, your heart's desire. What have you always wanted deep down in your heart? That's for H. A stands for your natural ability. What do you naturally have an ability, you know, to do? P stands for your personality. You know, you don't want to take a job, you don't want to start a business, you know, that's not best suited to your personality. So, you know, what career, what job, what business, you know, aligns with your personality. The second P stands for your passion. What are you passionate about? And Y stands for yesterday. What have you gone through in your past, you know, that you are angry about and you don't want someone else, you know, to go through? You know, what problems of the past, you know, are you eager to solve? And if you are able to use this acronym, HAPPY, you start to interrogate yourself, you start to ask yourself questions, you will find an answer. You know, look, I find from my work that one of the greatest challenges is misroad. A lot of people have missed their roads. There are doctors that are in the banks. There are engineers that are businessmen. How can our country evolve? How can we develop our country when the wrong people are in the wrong places? So Jimmy, so if you find that you're a round peg in a square hole, how do you get out of it?
I would start by saying that it depends on the kind of, how do I put it, the kind of career, the kind of vision you have. Some visions are, like somebody said, they're like a motorcycle. If you want to turn, you can turn immediately. And some are like a car, a little distance. Some like a locomotive train. You go a distance, but you plan the turn and you look for that opportunity. I've seen people that were locomotives trying to turn like a bike and they fell over. All right. So for me, for example, I'm sure you know that I used to be in the banking industry. I was in HR. I was doing pretty fine, but I knew in my heart that what I'm doing today is what I wanted to do. But that, I mean, I was at misroad a long while ago. It took me 2 years to make that shift. All right, and today I'm where I am today. So I think that if you realize you missed your way, what you need to do, number one, is reset that vision. All right, get it strong in your heart. Then start doing something where you are about where you want to go to. Don't leave where you want to get to immediately. Start doing something. So for me, my Saturdays and Sundays, I used to travel. I would go to Akure to speak to 3 people. I would go to Ife, all right? And people are like, why you spend it? I knew what I had to do. And so after I began to build, so by the time I was ready to go, I had a followership to some extent, and I had people that could be customers, and then I could offer something to them. And I started off on that platform.
You know, you heard it from Jimmy Tewe. He was a misroad. I also was a misroad man. You know, I went to university, I studied civil engineering. Can you imagine the catalyst? You know, still
drawing
structures and being on site. That would be a waste to shake it. So I was money misroad. I was career misroad for like 14 years. I was running 8 different businesses for those 13, 14 years. But, you know, I realized that, man, I'm not in the right place. And me, what I did was I went into a place of prayer. And I started to ask God, Lord, who am I? Why am I here? What solution was I born to be? You know, who has a problem that I'm a solution to? Where are they? What is the best way for me to reach them? You know? And if I died at that moment, right, 10 years ago, how would I be remembered? That was the one that even shook me the most. And I asked myself a follow-up question, how do I want to be remembered? Then the last thing that happened was, I asked myself what needed to change in my life. And it was obvious because the Lord spoke very, very silently into my heart and says, my son, go change for me one mind and one life at a time. And I asked him, I said, I'm an engineer. What do you mean go change one mind and one life? He says, go into the field of the human mind. And as you help transform how people think, how people believe, right, how their minds work, you will change their lives.
Wow.
And I went back to school. You know, I started studying psychology, psychotherapy, emotions therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, you know, life coaching, performance coaching, executive coaching, and here I am 10 years
Wow.
later.
Wow.
You know, I cannot even imagine that I was still selling clothes. I cannot, because I had 3 outlets, one on Adel Road, one on Sanusi Fafara, we had another one on Adeola Hopewell in Via. I cannot imagine still selling Thomas Pink shirts, TM Lewin shirt, churches shoes, suits, ties. I mean, it'll be a big waste. Not that it's not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing. And you know what I want to say to people out there is stop copying. You know, and when it's time, you know, to change gears and to change careers and to shift, it's time. You just have to make that decision. And I made that decision.
Wow.
And here I am.
Somebody said, no matter how good a photocopy is, you can never be like the original. That's the thing.
You
There's
can
a lot of
only be
people-
bought second best.
That's the truth about it.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen out there, you know, you are the original, you are the authentic, you are the only one of your kind, you know. And the truth of the matter is that, you know, we have challenges with carpenters, electricians,
Yeah.
plumbers in Nigeria.
Quality.
And we go and bring them from the
Togo.
other West African countries,
Yeah.
Togo.
Yeah.
And we pay phenomenal amounts of money to them. In fact, a lot of people bring them from East European countries now
Oh, wow.
to, you know, to finish their houses. Look, not everybody can be a lawyer.
True.
Not everybody can be a doctor.
Yeah.
There's some people that would have to be mechanics. There will have to be some people that will be vulcanizers,
Yeah.
because these are solutions.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, am I speaking Data FM?
Yes, you are. Who are we speaking with?
All right. Okay, this is Ogunchola Michael calling from Niger State.
Okay, welcome to the program. How may we help you this morning?
All right, I've been listening to the program and I think it's kind of very, very impactful and inspiring and educative.
Well, thank you, Gunshola.
All right. Now I want to make a few contributions.
Yes, please go ahead.
You see, when you look at our nation, I see a lot of people that want instant gratification. And if you want instant gratification, then forget about having or becoming all you can be in your career. Now, I want to encourage our young people and our graduates alike to practice delayed gratification. And I also want us to begin to change our mindset on entitlement mentality. Don't expect that life will give you what you deserve. It gives you what you negotiate for
Talk to them,
intentionally.
Bobomi Joe. Say that
Then we
again,
have
say
to
that again.
overhaul our educational system with this servitude mentality it sells to us. When I was in school, I had series of lessons that told me that I was going to become an employee. So they didn't train me to be an employer. To God be the glory, today I'm an entrepreneur in Niger State. Though small, but I'm making life good for myself. So we need to begin to change our mindset, even from the home and from the classroom, that you are not necessarily going to be an employee. You could be an employer. You could be an entrepreneur. Just make sure you're on the right path. You know, and if we can work on this thing, I tell you, you will become all you can be in your career.
Wow,
I called it last week. I was going to be a regular caller because I love the show.
All the way
I'm
from
calling
Niger State.
And Michael Okushola is the name. Thank
All
you
the way
much.
from Niger State.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Wow. He spoke deep, man. Do you want to comment on what Mr. Gusala said?
That's the character part of it, all right? So, and that is not talked about a whole lot. And the truth about it is this, that, the average person, I was somewhere, and I think it was Lake Order that said that, they did a survey, and I Googled the top searches for 2013, where how to kiss, how to join the Illuminati, how to be successful, and one other one, top searches. And that's what young people are watching out. So people want to succeed, right? But a lot of false stories about instant millionaire, so people will do anything. And when we begin to lose those values, you can actually get $10 million and lose it in 10 days, right? Those are the kind of things that are going to happen.
Wow. Delayed gratification.
Yeah, it is. So we
Character.
need to. I mean, you talked about, making the change. It wasn't easy.
It wasn't all.
It wasn't. And we don't talk about that part, I tell people that there was a day I remember that we couldn't buy Indomie noodles. Indomie, 30 bucks. We couldn't. We had two, so I gave to my two children and we celebrated. My wife and I, we drank Gary. And I used to earn 920K per month as a banker. 920. I was a senior manager when I left.
Wow. There was a time you couldn't buy Indomie.
Indomie.
I remember a time, when I started to make this shift, right? For weeks, we'd eat once in the office. I had these young guys that believed in me.
Yeah.
They believed so much in me. And there were about 5 of us. And we will work in the office all day. Then we will buy akara and dundu, maybe 200 naira. Later in the evening, about 5, 6. And we will all gather and eat that. They will go to sleep. Then my wife was abroad.
Wow. Tony Cole says he used to eat groundnut and plantain. That's a kind of.
I have a friend, right, that, we were in Unilife together. And we both studied civil engineering. Now, very, very brilliant gentleman. Very, very brilliant gentleman. But he was very passionate about sports. Very passionate about sports. He used to play soccer a lot. Then he graduated in engineering. He went abroad and did law. Right? He did very, very well in law. Today, he's a commissioner of sports, youth and sports. And so your passion
Big indicator.
is a very big indicator. It's not about what you studied
Yeah.
or what you went to restudy. I mean, listen to what the lady says. She says now her father has gone back to law.
Yeah.
So there's no knowledge that is lost. So don't think that you are lost. And don't think that, you've wasted your life or you've wasted your time.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to make that shift. But Jimmy, let's even say you are now in the career. How do you excel in your career? How can you be all that you were born to be in that chosen field of endeavor?
So first and foremost, you must have clarity around the vision. I mean, sometimes it sounds a bit, up in the air, but you have to have something driving you. Because again, I've seen people that have settled in the right field, but they settled with comfort. But there's always something to reach out for. So number one, you must have that vision. Number two is the fact that you must look for problems to solve within your field. There are too many things that, and those are the things that provide innovation for us. Because again, people don't reward you or promote you for just doing your job. To do your job, you get salary. To get promoted means that you are performing above our expectation. That's the thing about it. So again, you position yourself and look for problems to solve. Build yourself, develop yourself. All right, that is critical. All right.
You have to hammer on that because, man, not a lot of people.
Particularly in Lagos, people tell me that there's no time to read. I was in a meeting and I asked a guy. He asked a question. I said, "Go and get this book, read the book." And he said, "Oh, why are you telling me to read the book? When will I have time to read?" I said to him, "How many hours do you sleep?" He said, "Maybe like 6 hours." I said, "You're sleeping too much." I said, if you have a vision, you will sleep for 4 hours. If need be for 1 year, and you read for 2 hours per day for 1 year, your life will change.
Someone said to me yesterday night, I went out with my friends, from way back, and he says, anything you put industry in, you must excel in it.
True.
And I remember one day I was in a coaching class with a student. And the student said to me, my greatest stress is traffic. And, I live in Ajah. I just bought myself a Lexus Jeep, and I spent about 3 hours in traffic. Then I asked him what his greatest dream was. He says he wanted to have a PhD by a certain time. Then I asked him what was stopping him. He says he had no time to read. So I said, you spend 3 hours in traffic every day, and you have no time to read. And he says, I just bought that Lexus, and I just built my house in Nigeria, and I drive myself. So I said, what else could you do with those 3 hours? And the light bulb went off. He says, I would employ a driver.
Correct.
Pay him 25K,
I'm telling you.
and I'll spend the 3 hours reading. And that's exactly what he did. He got his PhD in 18
That's
months.
it. But
So a lot of people have the time,
yes,
but they just don't know how
they
to.
can't even see it.
Yes.
That's true.
Okay, I have this message on Facebook from Kenneth, and he says he's 20 years old. He plays football at a grassroots level, and his people, I believe his family, are pressurizing him to write jam and go to school, and he's so passionate about his career as a footballer. So he's wondering, like, what do you think he should do?
I think that, again, please, let's balance this, right? So there are footballers that don't understand anything, and then after they have played and they're 40, that's the end of life. But that's not the end of life.
And a lot of
Exactly.
them are suffering that too.
They are,
They have
exactly.
nothing to do.
Yeah.
To fall back on, huh?
Exactly. Now, so when we say, now you must get an education, but how you get it is different. So you don't have to go to university, but you must be educated. There's certain things that if your mind is not exposed to, you cannot use that mind to do. That's the truth about it. So what I would say to that young man is that, you know what, look for those alternatives, all right, where education is concerned. There are sports academies. There are schools, for example, that their strength is sports, but they still have an educational system.
Yeah.
Join those schools, all right, and build from there.
Yeah. You know, and I thought I heard him say he's 20. You know, you have to be a damn good soccer player, man.
Yeah.
You know, at 20, to compete with your contemporaries, those guys, you know, have entered the club that they need to enter since 16,
16 something, yeah.
since 17.
Yeah.
So, you know, you need to put in that industry, that extraordinary effort into what you're doing today. But you must always work towards falling back on something, because you're not going to be playing soccer at 40.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and
Definitely not.
And the only thing that people fall back on is coaching. You know, soccer coaching. And not everybody can be a soccer coach. And we've seen many people try and fail. There were phenomenal footballers. Maradona tried. You know, one of the greatest footballers of our time. He tried to coach. He cannot do it at the highest level. So
Maradona, he can't coach, or he has a very unique attitude?
at the highest level, whatever you want to call it. You know, he cannot be a coach for Arsenal, neither can he be the coach for...
If you go around beating up your players.
That's why we're saying that, you know that acronym HAPPY, there's certain personalities that, you know, cannot allow you to do certain things.
Sure.
It's, I mean, you know, if your personality, you cannot take that outside of your calling. So what are the other things that you need to excel and be all you can be in your career?
One of the strongest ones is your association. And I see people fail with this. You need association on 3 levels. You need mentors, you need peers, and you need subordinates. Let me start from beneath. If nobody's willing to follow you, it's likely you're not going anywhere. Nobody that can say, Uncle, I want to be like you. Then there's nothing inspiring about your life. There should be people that you raise by yourself. There are people that are your peers. Your peers are people that your vision stimulates each other. You challenge each other. You don't get envious of each other, but you challenge each other. Then, above all, you need mentors. I will not be here today without people that invested in me, that I pursued. All right, because let me balance that. Some people call me, oh, I told you to mentor me, you didn't call me. I'm trying to go somewhere with my life, right? You know, that's about exactly. All right, so you need to find people that are either in your path directly where you want to go to, or they are doing something that inspires you. Okay, so what you need to do is pursue them, look for an opportunity to be part of what they're doing. Now, at some point, when you have invested in their own emotional bank account, they'll be willing to invest in your own too, eventually. So
just like Elijah served Elijah,
exactly.
and Joshua served Moses. People don't want to serve. You know, look, this point that Jimmy is reiterating is what Mr. Leverage calls, you must have the man behind. You must have the man around, and you must have the man ahead. For you to leverage and be all that you are born to be, it's important that you do this. Give us one last tip.
Think. Think. People don't think. Most people don't think. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine used to live in Bagada. He moved on Sunday to Yaba, closer to the island. He left his office from the Lagos Island and arrived at Bagada, where he had left before. It was when he got to the gate, he realized, now was he mad? Was he from the village? No. He was using his unconscious mind to live his life. You can run your life for 8 years without thinking. I was talking to somebody, coaching somebody, I said, oh, you've been in banking for 8 years. She was like, 8 years? I said, yes. So it's possible you're on autopilot. But you see, real planes that go somewhere, there must be a pilot in the cockpit. You must take charge of your life. You must use your mind, developed to think about yourself, where you are, where you want to be, think about the kind of solutions you can provide. Think. That one, I mean, people tell me things. Somebody came for an interview. We asked him, what are your strengths? He said, the joy of the Lord is my strength. That's what I'm thinking. True.
The joy of
the
the
Lord is his strength. Yeah, stop thinking.
Lobaton.
Yes, sir.
Wow. And on this note, you know, we're wrapping up. Be all you can be, Jimmy. Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir.
And on that note, Jimmy says you need to think. I say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What a man thinks about, it brings about. And you can never rise beyond your thoughts.